Shalom, shalom. We sitting out at the park getting ready for the Hanukkah feast, the feast of dedication. We just figured we just bring out a couple little scriptures on the feast of Hanukkah while we waiting for the brothers to come. But we just over here preserving the park over here, just relaxing, enjoying the Florida weather. Right, so I'm your brother Ruben from Nations of Kings and Priests, and I got my brother right here.
Brother Mahar.
Right, so we just gonna go over a couple little scriptures while we waiting on the brothers. So we wanna, we know we got the Christmas season coming up, and we want to tell our people, you know, in the Christmas season that's coming up, if you celebrating Christmas, you in the wrong spirit of the Most High, because the Most High, he ain't got nothing to do with Christmas. He all about keeping the feast days, and he all about keeping the days of the Bible, you know. So he ain't all about Christmas. You can't find Christmas in the Bible. You can't find Christ's birthday in the Bible. You can't find December 25th where Christ was born. That's all paganism according to the Bible. So we just going to go into a couple scriptures and show how our people today, how did we get into the condition we in today by celebrating these holidays that don't have nothing to do with us. So the first scripture, brother, give me Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. I'm going to show how black people, how we got into the condition today that we're not keeping the customs that was originally given to us as Israelites, as blacks and Hispanics. All right. So go ahead and read that, brother.
All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
So as you see, the Bible says we're going to discontinue from our heritage. And that's what's going on today. Because we not in our homeland. We in the land here in America. So when we got over here off those slave ships, they brainwashed us, right? And the Bible was telling us that we would discontinue from our heritage. We discontinue from the customs that we were keeping. We discontinue from our God. We discontinue from the Bible. Because when you read the Bible is talking about you. It ain't talking about no other people. From Genesis to Revelation, it's talking about a certain people. It's talking about the Israelites, and it's talking about you. Right? So read it one more time.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
Read on.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
See that we in the land that we know is not. And we discontinue from our heritage. And the Feast of Hanukkah is going into the Greek captivity. When we was in the Greek captivity with Alexander the Greek, you can read that in the Bible. Alexander, you could call it the Great or the Greek. Get that in First Maccabees real quick. 1:1. And we're going to go into a little bit of history about what is Hanukkah. Because we know our people, they don't know what Hanukkah is because we don't read. We don't read the Bible. We don't read. You know, they say if you want to have something from a Negro, put it in the book, right? So read that. We're going to see Alexander the Greek or the Great in the Bible. Go ahead, brother.
All right, this is the first book of Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip.
Alexander, the son of Philip. It's talking about Alexander the Greek, right? Read on.
The Macedonian.
The Macedonian, right? Go ahead.
Who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes,
right?
That he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
He was the first ruler over Greece, right? Alexander the Greek, right? Read on.
And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
Right, he slew all the kings of the earth because they was taking over various lands and they was changing the customs of the people. And that's what you see what's going on with the Catholic Church today. They taking over and they changing all the dates around. They changing the Sabbath into Sunday. They changing everything around, right? Go ahead, brother.
And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations.
Right, they took spoils of many nations. They conquered many nations, right? Go ahead.
Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
Right, the earth was quiet before it was quiet before Alexander the Greek and his 4 generals took over various lands. Go ahead.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
Right.
And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries, and nations, and kings,
Right.
who became tributaries unto him.
Right. So he became tributaries unto us. That's why we don't know that we keeping like Christmas.
No, we became tributaries
Right.
unto him.
Right. That's why we keeping Christmas and all these other holidays. Go ahead.
And after these things he fell sick,
Right. He got sick because he was a homosexual. Right. Go ahead.
and perceived that he should die.
Right. He should die. Now jump to verse 41. We're
Verse-
just going to go over a couple quick scriptures. We're going to not do nothing long. We just sitting at the park. We figure we just bring out a couple scriptures while we waiting on the brothers to get here. Go ahead, read, brother.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
All should be one people. And that's what's going on today, even with the vaccination. They want us to be all one people, all under one government, all under one order, right? And this is like a trial run to see if they can get everybody to quarantine or wear masks and do that as a whole. You see the whole world doing it. You don't just see United States or just Africa. You see the whole world doing this. They're making a one world order, one world government. So read that again.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
We should be one people, right? Keeping the same customs, the same feast days, the same holidays, right? Read.
And every one should leave his laws.
Everyone should leave their own customs. We leaving the custom what Christ kept, the Feast of Dedication, right? You can't see Christ keeping, you keep it nowhere in the Bible you can see Christ keeping Christmas. But we can go in the Bible and see what Christ is against Christmas, and we're going to get that too. Go ahead.
So all the heathen agreed,
All the people agreed, right? Go ahead.
according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Right, even the Israelites, we consented to the religion of the other nation, of the heathen, to be one people. Go ahead.
And sacrificed unto idols.
Right, now we sacrificing unto different idols, okay? Now jump back over to 11 real quick. Read 11 to 14.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Right, because we did have some men in Israel that did want to keep the customs. But then we had wicked men that betrayed us and went behind our backs and said, hey, we're going to keep the customs of the Greek. We're Greeks now. We're not Israelites. I'm a Greek. That's the same thing we doing here in America today. We're not proclaiming our heritage as Israelites. We proclaiming the heritage of African American or blacks or Hispanics. We're not proclaiming our true history, right? Go ahead.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Right, we're going to go and we're going to make a covenant with the other nations. We're going to be just like them, right? We're going to leave our customs like we're doing today. We're not keeping Hanukkah or the Feast of Dedication. Now, 99% of our people keeping Christmas. They don't have nothing to do with us. Ain't no fat man rolling down no chimney, jumping through a chimney, bringing no Christmas presents. That's all fiction made up by who? Your oppressor, right? Read on.
That are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right.
So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Right. We went to the king to get license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, right? And that was one of them customs.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise.
Build a place of exercise, like your LeBron James, your basketball stadiums, right? We keeping those customs. We never kept Greek customs, because back then the Greeks, they would wrestle naked. That's what they would do. They was homosexuals, right? Read.
At Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
Right, or order to the customs of the heathen. So let's jump to Maccabees, the 4th chapter. So we just showing how we, now go to 2nd Maccabees 6 and 6. Let's get that first. So we just showing how we went from keeping Feast of Dedication or Hanukkah to now we keeping Christmas. And it's all history is here in the Bible. It's telling you why you keeping the customs of Christmas and the customs of the other nation. You're not keeping your own custom, right? Read that in 2 Maccabees 6 and verse 6.
This is the second book of Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
Right. It wasn't even a lawful back in the Greeks to keep your own Sabbath day, right? Our people not keeping the Sabbath day. We keeping Sunday worship. We keeping Sunday church. Sunday church, you can't find it in the Bible, right? That's a law that was given to Constantine, the Roman Catholic Church. They changed the date, right? Go ahead.
Or ancient feasts,
Mm-hmm.
or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
You can't even profess yourself at all to be a Jew. Go ahead.
And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept,
Right.
the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
Right. So we even followed the custom. We couldn't wait. Right. We followed them willingly. Right. Go ahead.
Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen,
Right.
by the suggestion of Ptolemy, against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions.
We should do what?
Observe the same fashions.
No, we're going to keep Christmas. We're going to observe the same fashion as the Roman Catholic Church. Right? Read on.
and be partakers of their sacrifices.
We're going to be partakers of their holidays. That's exactly what they're saying. We're going to do what they're doing. Right? Read on.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles,
You didn't want to conform yourself to doing the Greek customs, right? What was going to happen?
should be put to death.
You was put to death because now you converted to the customs of the Greeks. And that's what happened to our people today. We bringing out the history in the Bible to show you why you keeping Christmas, why you're not keeping Hanukkah, why you're not keeping the Feast of Dedication. And you spend all your time decorating, getting ready, prepping the kids, getting them all hyped up for a big fat man coming down the chimney. And that's not according to the Bible. The Lord is against Christmas. So if you keeping Christmas, you're going against the Lord. And the Lord is not pleased with you. Right? So let's go to 1 Maccabees, the 4th chapter. And let's start at verse 35. Because we about to get into Hanukkah, the Feast of Hanukkah. Because we know the Mattathias, and he had 5 sons. Jonathan, Judas Maccabee, Simon, right? And they all fought to get our customs back. When you read all these chapters, we just doing a quick breakdown, right? So when they did rededicated the temple back, because the heathen, they destroyed the temple of God. So we rededicating the temple back to the Most High, right? So we're going to read the history on Hanukkah right here. Go ahead and read it, brother.
This is the first book of Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 35.
Mm-hmm.
Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas' soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly,
Mm-hmm.
he went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers.
Right. So this is the Greek army, right? They been rebuilding their army back up because the Maccabees will always destroy the army, right? Read on.
And having made his army greater than it was,
Right. So he making his army greater than what it was, because we was taking down their armies, right? Because we wasn't conforming to their religions or their customs, right? Read on.
he purposed to come again into Judea.
Mm-hmm.
Then said Judas and his brethren, Behold, our enemies are discomfited.
Right. Judas and his brother said, our enemies. We always had enemies all throughout the whole Bible. Right? Read on.
Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
Now we get into what Hanukkah is. It's cleanse and do what?
Cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
Re-cleansing and rededicating the sanctuary back to who? To Yahweh Shai, or to God, some might call, right? Read.
Upon this all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Zion.
Mm-hmm.
And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burnt up, and shrubs growing in the courts, as in a forest, or in one of the mountains, yea, and the priest's chambers pulled down.
Start right there. Because when they went to rededicate the temple, it was all destroyed. It looked like an old abandoned house. It was all weeded up, grass growing out of the foundation, dirt everywhere, swine flesh all over the altar. It was a mess what the heathen had done to the Most High, to his holy altar. Right? Read on.
They rent their clothes, and made great lamentation, and cast ashes upon their heads.
Right. So now they want to fast. They praying to the Most High. They put ashes on their heads and sackcloth on their back. That's how you pray to the Most High in ancient times, right? Read on.
And fell down flat to the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets.
Right. We blow an alarm with the trumpet back in Israel when we had trouble, right? Go ahead, brother.
And cried towards heaven.
Right.
Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress, until he had cleansed the sanctuary.
Till he did what?
Till he had cleansed the sanctuary.
Till he cleansed the sanctuary. And that's what we doing today. We cleansing the sanctuary. And we're going to go in what the sanctuary is today. Do we have a sanctuary today? No. But we're going to go in what is that sanctuary, right? The sanctuary is talking about you. You have to cleanse yourself. You have to cleanse everything you learned here in America. You got to cleanse it out of you. You got to get these things out of you. You're not going to be in the kingdom of the Most High God talking about Merry Christmas. Ain't going to be no Christmas in the kingdom of heaven. If you want to get the kingdom of heaven, this is what you need to be doing, keeping the feast of dedication. You're not going to be in heaven talking about, oh, let's hang a Christmas tree up. Let's put some little stars on there and let's decorate the tree. That's not going on in the kingdom of heaven. We're going to show you what's going to be going on in the kingdom of heaven. So we got to get out of these customs today, because the Bible in Judges 5 and 11, it tells us we have to keep the righteous act. That means we're rehearsing now. We're rehearsing things that we got to do in the kingdom of heaven. And the feast of dedication of Hanukkah is one of the feasts that we're going to be keeping. Right? Read on.
So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law,
right?
Who cleansed the sanctuary.
They cleaned the sanctuary. They had pleasure in doing that. For who? For their God, for the Most High, right? Read.
And bear out the defiled stones.
Yeah, they took out everything in the sanctuary that was defiled and threw it away, right? Go ahead, brother.
Into an unclean place. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profaned,
right,
they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it.
Right, the people defiled the temple of God. Read on.
Wherefore they pulled it down.
Right, so they tearing up stuff, ripping stuff down, ripping all of the foul things. Like when you buy a house, it's all tore up and raggedy. You got to clean that thing up. You got to take the weeds out, the dry away. You got to spray, you spray on the ground. You got to do all that stuff to get your house together. And that's what they were doing. They was getting the house of the Most High. They was cleansing the temple, right? Go ahead.
And laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them.
Right.
Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar.
They built a what?
A new altar.
They built a new altar, right? Because it was destroyed. They was throwing biscuits in the temple. They was sacrificing swine flesh on the altar. They was being wicked to the Most High, right? Read on.
According to the former, and made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts.
And hallowed the court. If you're just not tuning in, we going in on Hanukkah, how the heathen destroyed the temple of God, and Judas Maccabee and his companions, they rededicated the temple back to the Most High God. That's what the Hanukkah celebration is all about. We rededicating the temple back to the Most High God. And this was a custom that we had to keep year by year. This is something that don't end. right? And the Bible gonna tell you, right? Go ahead.
They made also new holy vessels,
Mm-hmm.
and into the temple they brought the candlestick.
They brought what?
The candlestick.
They brought the candlestick. If you don't know what the candlestick is, it's the menorah. So you got to get yourself a menorah during the Feast of Hanukkah. And you can't get the 9 branches. They got them with 9 branches, and they got them with 7 branches.
Right there.
And we're going to, right here, that's exactly what it is. And we're going to show you, let's get Revelation real quick. Revelation chapter 1. Read verse 13. Why do we use the 7 candlesticks? Because when you go to the store, the Jewish people, they use the 9 candlestick. That's going into idol worship. That's going into the idolatry, right? Read that.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 13.
Okay.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks.
Amidst of the what?
7 candlesticks.
No, amidst of the 9 candlesticks.
7 candlesticks.
That's why we use the 7 candlesticks, right? Read.
One like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and he girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Now jump to verse 20. We're going to show you what that 7 candlestick represent. It represents the 7 churches, right? Read.
Verse 20. The mystery of the 7 stars.
The mystery of the 7 stars. God, he deal with numbers. When he's saying numbers in the Bible, he deal with numbers. That's why some people know the number 666. That represent wickedness and evil. 7 represent completion. Things that are completed, that are holy, right? Read.
Which thou sawest in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches.
The candlesticks represent what?
The 7 stars and are the angels of the 7 churches.
Are the 7 churches, the 7 spirits of the Most High, right? Read.
And the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches.
Are the what?
7 churches.
Them 7 candlesticks represent the 7 churches. Read on.
Next chapter.
No, but the 7 churches, now go back where we was at. The 7 churches represent us, the Israelites today, right? In the spiritual aspect. Okay, read back where we left off at. We're going back into the Feast of Dedication. If you're just not tuning in, we out here at Hang City Park, and we're going to show you the Feast of Hanukkah or the Feast of Dedication. It's an 8-day celebration. It's not a 1 day. Christmas, you do your one thing, you done. So the Most High, he gave us holidays 8-7 days. You know, we gonna be partying in the kingdom. We're not gonna just be celebrating 1 day. We're gonna be doing this various days after days after days. And what do? We come together, we eat, we feast, we drink a little bit of wine, we sing songs, we dance, you know. We listen to righteous hip-hop music. So it's a good feast, and that's what we did. We wasn't doing no Christmas. We wasn't sitting around no Christmas tree. That's all pagan, right? Go ahead, brother. Finish where we left off. We're going to get into Hanukkah.
This is the first book of Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 49. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick.
They brought the candlestick, what we just read in Revelation, right?
And the altar of burnt offerings, and of incense, and the table. And upon the altar they burnt incense.
They burnt incense because the Most High, he loves the smell of sweet savor. That's why you see some people, they burn the oils or the incense. God, he actually loved that smell. When you burning your frankincense and myrrh, he loved that smell, right? Go ahead.
And the lamps that were upon the candlestick, they lighted.
They lighted. So you can go home. You got 8 days. You can light the candlesticks all 8 days. You know? Go ahead.
That they might give light in the temple.
Right.
Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils.
Right. So they finna have a feast. They put the loaves up on the table. They finna party. Right? Read on.
And finished all the works which they had begun to make.
Right, because they finished everything they done. They cleaned up the temple, right? Go ahead.
Now, on the 25th day.
On the 25th day, the 25th day. Not the 25th day of December, the 25th day of what?
of the 9th month.
Of the what?
Of the 9th month.
December is the 12th month. This is talking about Hanukkah is the 9th month. But we in the 12th month today. So why we celebrating it today? The Bible say do the 9th month. According to the man's calendar, it's the 12th month. So in order to get to know the days and the times in the Bible, you have to keep new moons. When you look outside and you see a black dark moon, that's a new moon, because the year do not start in the dead winter of January. According to the Bible, the new year start in the springtime around March or April. You can read that in Deuteronomy chapter 16:1. It'll tell you that the new year starts in the springtime around March or April. So around March or April, you count 9 months would give us here in December, right? Go ahead, read on.
Which is called the month of Caslu.
Caslu means Hanukkah or Feast of Dedication, right? Read.
In the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it.
Right, so they remember what day and time that we really lost our customs, right? Read on.
Even in that was it dedicated with songs.
Right, we dedicate this day, all 8 days, with songs. We celebrate. We having a good time. We having a good time. We come together. We drink a little wine. You can drink a little bit of whatever. Long as you're not being a drunkard, you can drink alcohol. The Bible is not against drinking alcohol. Long as you drink it in moderation. You're not falling all over the floor. Pick this brother up, he drunk. No, we drink in haste, right? Read on.
And citherns and harps and cymbals.
So they got all these instruments. They got the whole band at the Hanukkah feast. And I'm going to show you who was there. We're going to show you that Christ was actually there. Christ wasn't at the Christmas party. Christ was at the Hanukkah feast. So if you call yourself, you following Christ, you want to do the things he did and celebrate how he celebrated, that's what you need to be doing. Because anybody that's celebrating Christmas, I'm going to just be flat out, you're going to be destroyed by the Most High. Because he's not with no Christmas. He's not with that custom. And we're going to prove it in the Bible that he's not with Christmas. Right? Read.
Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven.
Praising the God of heaven. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to praise the God of heaven on the day he ordained us to do so. Read.
Who had given them good success.
Right. That's why we get good success, because we're doing the right thing. Right? Read on.
And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days.
8 days. The Feast of Dedication is 8 days, following after the Feast of Tabernacles. Right? Read.
And offered burnt offerings with gladness. And sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise.
Right. So I know what somebody on here probably saying. Oh, we ain't got to do that no more. Let's see what the Bible say. Read.
They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields.
And they had real gold. Back in Israel, they was doing it with real gold. The floors was real solid gold. The temple was gold. Look, read it in the book of Solomon. Samuel. When Solomon built the temple, man, he decked it out. It was all solid gold, right? Read.
And the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Thus was there very great gladness among the people,
right?
For that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
Right, the reproach of the heathen was put away. And that's what we trying to tell y'all to do. Y'all need to put away the reproach of the heathen. Because that's the custom of other nations. Let them keep Christmas. They're going to be destroyed. You keep Hanukkah. You put a security block on you, on your soul. Because you ain't going to be doing no Christmas in the kingdom. I challenge anybody on here, show me Christmas in the Bible. Show me December 25th in the Bible. Show me Christ's birthday in the Bible. You ain't going to find it. That's something made up. We got to come out of these fairy tales, and then we got to break the chain from bringing this to our kids, to their kids, to their kids, because we've been taught, we was taught wrong. Our parents taught us wrong. So it's time for us to break that chain, and now we got to be taught right. Got to be taught all over again. That's why the Bible says you got to be born again. What do you mean? Do you go back into your mother's womb? No. You have to be born again. You have to take all the stuff that you learned right here and throw it in the garbage and come back. Right? Read on.
Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year.
How long we got to keep it?
From year to year.
Do it ever stop?
From year to year.
From year to year, we got to keep it going continuous. From our generation to the next generation of kids coming up, right? Read.
By the space of 8 days.
By 8 days. We celebrated 8 days. Read.
From the 25th day of the month of Caslu, with mirth and gladness.
All right, that's it, with mirth and gladness, right? So go to the book of, let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Okay, do we have a temple now? Can we rededicate the temple to the Most High God today? No, but the Bible got all the answers. We that temple, we the temple of the Most High God. When we read certain scriptures, we the kingdom, it say the kingdom of heaven dwell within you. We the kingdom of heaven, the people. We the kingdom of heaven. Because what did Christ say? The kingdom of heaven shall suffer violence. How the kingdom of heaven gonna suffer violence? We see the kingdom of heaven, which is us, suffering violence today. You see black men get shot down in the street today. I think a brother just got shot the other day holding a Subway sandwich. We that kingdom that's suffering violence, right? Read that in 1 Corinthians.
This is the first book of Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 16.
We don't have an altar. We the altar. Read.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
That we the what?
The temple of God.
We are the temple of God today. You the temple of God. Right? Read.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?
No, it dwells in the building.
The Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
It dwells in you. It's inside of you. You just got to come out of the mother custom and come back and let it dwell in you. Right? Read.
If any man defile the temple of God.
Just like they did in the days of the Greeks. They defiled the temple of God. So if you defile your temple, which is going into detail, smoking weed, eating pork, putting tattoos on your body, that's how you defiling your temple. You're destroying your temple. Your body is your temple, right? If you do those things, we got tattoos, we ate pork, we did all kind of wickedness, but we repented. We repented and asked God to forgive us, and we coming back to the Most High. So if you defile your temple, what's going to happen?
Him shall God destroy.
God going to do what?
God destroy.
No, he going to be your friend.
Shall God destroy.
No, he going to give you a hug and a kiss.
Shall God destroy.
So that's in the Bible. People don't know that God will destroy you. He will destroy you. He'll destroy you for keeping encouragement, right? Read.
For the temple of God is holy. Which temple ye are.
Right. The temple that we are. Read on.
Let no man deceive himself.
You can't deceive yourself. And that's what our people do. They deceiving ourselves because they say, oh, I'm not celebrating this Christmas. We doing it for the kids. Don't deceive yourself because you just tricking yourself. You fooling yourself. Right? Read.
If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise.
Right. Don't be a fool. Be that wise man. Because this is a lot of fools. So we got to be a wise person, right? Now let's get Christmas in the Bible what God is against. Let's go to, you know what I want, Jeremiah. We said we're going to show you that Christmas in the Bible that you don't supposed to be doing. No, we having something over here today.
What, here?
I think it's one over here, right over here. I don't think nobody at that one over there.
Yeah, there's another one on the other side of the playground that has also 3 tables as well.
There's somebody there already.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Thus saith the Lord.
Thus saith who?
Thus saith the Lord.
This ain't nothing we saying. This what God's saying. Thus saith the Lord. Right? Go ahead.
Learn not the way of the heathen.
Do what?
Learn not the way of the heathen.
Don't learn the way or the customs of the heathen. Don't learn it. Right? Read.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Right. All that stuff that you're going to the zodiac signs. He said, don't be into all of that stuff. All that astrology. Don't be into that. Right? Read.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
Right. They dismayed at them. That's stuff they like to do. Right?
For the customs of the people are vain.
These customs are vain. Right? Read.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
One did what?
Cutteth a tree out of the forest.
What that's going into? What you got in your house? A tree. So they showing you the axe. One cut a tree out of the forest. Right?
The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
Mm-hmm.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with what?
With silver and with gold.
What custom that people do today, that they take a tree out of the forest, cut it down, bring it in your house, and you decorate it with silver and gold? Well, we just read God say, don't do that, because that's the custom of the heathen. If you didn't hear it, go back up to it where it say that's the customs of the heathen. Verse 2.
Verse 2, Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Right. Don't do it. Right. Read.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
Mm-hmm.
For the customs of the people are vain.
Right.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They decorate with silver and with gold.
Mm-hmm.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
Right.
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good.
Right. So it's not in them to do good. Christmas is not in them to do good. God is against that certain custom. Right. Give me Colossians 2:8 real quick. We're going to get two more scriptures and then we're going to end it. We just want to show our people that Hanukkah is what we should be doing because it's in the Bible. Matter of fact, give me John 10:22. Let's see, did Christ do it? Let's see, did Christ do it? Let's see, did Christ do Christmas, or he kept the Feast of Dedication, which is Hanukkah?
This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of Dedication.
Feast of what?
Of Dedication.
When you look up Feast of Dedication, in the Strong's, the word is Hanukkah. So the Feast of Dedication, read.
And it was winter.
It was winter, just like it is now. It's winter, right? Go ahead.
And Jesus walked in the temple.
Who was at the Feast of Dedication?
And Jesus walked in the temple.
No, who was there?
And Jesus walked in the temple.
The guy you said that you worship, that he shedded his blood for you. He kept this custom. He kept this feast day. He didn't say, hey, celebrate my birthday December the 25th. He didn't say that. He said, keep this because I'm doing it. Who was at the Feast of Dedication?
And Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch.
Right, so Jesus was at the Feast of Dedication. He doing what we doing today. Right, now go back to Colossians. Colossians 2:8.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Don't let nobody trick you. Right, go ahead.
After the tradition of men.
After what?
The tradition of men.
What is Christmas?
The tradition of men.
Christmas is what?
The tradition of men.
Christmas is a tradition of men. It told you from the beginning, don't let them deceive you with their tradition of a man, right? Read.
After the rudiments of the world.
Right.
And not after Christ.
And not after who?
Not after Christ.
Not after Christ. If you follow in Christ, you're going to keep Hanukkah because he kept it, right? Right? So let me get one more scripture. Give me transform your mind. Be transformed your mind. Give me that in it's Romans. Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. That's what I want. We're going to end it on this last scripture right here.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You got to transform your mind. You got to come out of them wicked customs. Transform your mind and your ways, right? Read.
That ye may prove what is that good, that acceptable, and perfect will of God.
Right. To be acceptable, the perfect will of God. So that's all we're doing. We just brought out a quick little class while we were sitting here waiting on the brothers. We're going to celebrate the Feast of Dedication. It's an 8-day celebration. You get with like-minded brothers that believe like you, or even family members that believe like you too. But it's all in the will and the spirit of the Most High, and it all comes out of the Bible. Every feast day you can find, or a holiday or custom is right here, and that's what we keep, right? But we hope somebody learned something. This little the thing we brought out. I hope y'all was edified with that. We're gonna say shalom.
Shalom.
Keep the feast.
And lights.